Fireworks are set off during the opening ceremony of the Pyeongchang 2018 Winter Olympic Games. Photo, Sean M. Happy God. I love the Winter Olympics, the headlong velocity of the downhill skiing, the grace and elegance of the figure skating, the courage of those hurtling down the ice in the skeleton, the potential for Keystone Cops chaos in the short track skating, the daredevil maneuvers of the snowboarders, the soaring of the ski jumpers, the acrobatics of the aerial skiers, the Broadway pizzazz of the ice dancers, and, above all, the sensation of the curtain being lifted on a whole marvelous sporting world which between games remains hidden from us. The Winter Olympics are a beautiful marvel. The good American critic Dave Hickey wrote about his preference for art which made you go huh first and wow afterwards rather than the other way around. We spent an awful lot of our time watching sport which was all wow beforehand. Big football games which arrive trailing clouds of hype and leave us wondering what all the fuss is about, saying hung spades long before the end. The opposite tends to happen with the Winter Olympics. Your expectations are usually low when you start watching, largely because you don't know very much about either the athletes or the sport. Yet if you give them a chance, these marvelous games will transform you. Utter a wow before you can say Paolo Antonio. That's because the Winter Olympics provide viewers with something commensurate to our capacity for wonder. It abounds in obviously difficult sports which require both bravery and technical excellence. Sports which can't help but elicit a gut reaction of instantaneous admiration. That's why it will be worth staying up till the early hours or getting up early in the morning to catch the big moments from Pyeongchang. Even if you can't manage that, you won't miss much by waiting to see the highlights. You'll probably be able to get through the day without someone divulging the result of the snowboard cross, the moguls or the luge, and watching them will prevent you being the bollocks who says, "Did you ever see Cool Runnings?" Anytime the Winter Olympics is mentioned, the games are to a large extent the domain of competitors whose excellence is equaled only by their obscurity in terms of the general public. Perhaps the two biggest stars on show are a pair of American skiers whose quests for gold should make their discipline the most compelling on view over the next fortnight. Lindsey Vonn is one of the finest downhill skiers of all time. Her 81 victories in World Cup events is a record for a woman, and no one has surpassed her total of 8 World Cup downhill titles. Yet she has just one Olympic gold, one at Vancouver in 2010. That's because she missed the 2014 Olympics after aggravating a knee injury suffered in 2013 when Vonn was probably at her peak, having won her 6th World Cup title on the dot. The Minnesota woman recovered to win World Cups in 2015 and 2016 before suffering a severe arm fracture in November of the latter year which sidelined her once more. She has fought back and will start as favorite to win both the downhill, the Blue Ribbon event, of alpine skiing, and the Super G. Yet she is not as dominant as she once was. Now 33, she has rivals snapping at her heels, the likes of Italy's Sofia Gaggia, who's leading this season's World Cup downhill standings, and Switzerland's Lara Gut, who's doing the same in Super G. Then there's Michaela Schifrin, who, in the absence of Vonn, became the golden girl of American skiing when winning the slalom in Sochi at the age of just 18. There are already predictions that Schifrin can become the greatest skier of all time, and she has a real chance of equaling the record of 3 gold medals set by the Croatian Jana Kostelic at the 2002 Olympics. Schifrin is a virtual cert to repeat her win in the slalom, where she's won 4 of the last 5 World Cup titles, and is likely to also win the combined event. In the giant slalom, her battle with Germany's Victoria Rebensberg, current World Cup leader and 2010 Olympic champ, and reigning world champion Tessa Worley of France, should be one of the contests of the games. To stir the pot a bit further, Schifrin has also entered the downhill and Super G events. Inexperience at these very different events, she's only raced twice in World Cup Super G, should rule her out of contention. Yet though it's hard to see her stealing Vonn's thunder in the older skiers' specialities, the young pretender might well sneak a medal in one of them. If you're only going to watch a couple of events, make them the finals of the downhill on Wednesday weekend of the giant slalom, whose final stages get underway at 4:45 our time tomorrow morning, with the denouement shortly after 6. There's less intrigue surrounding the men's alpine competition, and the downhill will have been decided by the time you read this, but they do offer the chance to see one of the game's finest performers, Austria's Marcel Hirscher, who's won 8 of the last 12 World Cup titles in slalom and giant slalom. Hirscher looks nailed on for a double, but 4 years ago he only managed a 2nd and 4th. Norway's Henrik Kristoffersen, whose slalom bronze 3 years ago at the age of 19 made him the youngest men's skiing medalist ever and who's been mayo to Hirscher's doubling of late, could pounce in the event of a slip-up. The games come at a fraught time for host nation South Korea, who have tried to ease tensions by combining with North Korea to enter a unified women's ice hockey team and marching along with the representatives of their bellicose neighbor in the opening ceremony parade. It's always good to see home winners at the games, but in the circumstances South Korea deserved it more than most. Their big chance will come in the short course skating, where 21 of the country's 26 Winter Olympics golds have been won. A huge burden rests on a couple of extraordinary youngsters, 18-year-old Hwang Dae-han in the men's events and